already know that Christopher Columbus was a thief, a liar, a rapist, but did you know that he was also a two-timing, trifling ass fool? That's because some historians believe that he was working with both the Portuguese and the Spanish, or what we now know as Spanish monarchies, with funding for his voyages. They believe that he was feeding both of them information about what he found. All right, so in the 1480s, Columbus had requested an audience with King John II of Portugal multiple times. And every time that he'd gone in with his proposals about funding for his voyages so that he could find a route to the Indies, he was basically laughed out of the room. They were literally like, get out of my face, because his math was so bad and like his calculations were completely far off. So he goes from place to place trying to get somebody to accept his proposal, and he ends up in Granada, which at the time was a newly formed kingdom. King Ferdinand, Queen Isabella, they had just gotten married, united the kingdoms, yada yada. And that is what today we recognize as Spain. A bunch of shit went down in 1492 that created the conditions that allowed for Columbus to become a candidate for these voyages. So Ferdinand and Isabella had gotten married, united their kingdom, and they had just finished a campaign where they were able to expel both Muslims and Jews from Granada. So they were basically in building mode. They were looking for opportunities and for a way to establish themselves and their monarchy and their kingdom. Now, the Portuguese sailors were very experienced in navigating the world. They had extensive knowledge on the mathematics that related to the circumference of the world. They had a pretty good idea of how long it took to get to different places and the distances. So when Columbus came around proposing these numbers that were severely underprojected, they knew like this dude has no idea what he's talking about. Now, Columbus was also laughed out of the courts because of the demands that he made for what he wanted in exchange for when he actually did find that route to the Indies. So when he gets to Granada, to the Spanish monarchs, he says, hey, I'm gonna find this for you, but in exchange, I want a patent of nobility. I want to be the viceroy. I want to be the governor of all the lands I find. And I want 1/10 of the gold, the silver, the spices that I'm able to bring back. So they were like, fine, go. I mean, think about it. They literally had nothing to lose. If Columbus succeeded and they gained a route to the Indies and access to all of that gold and those spices, and great. But if he was wrong, I mean, they already didn't have